What's good, everybody? Happy Wednesday evening to everybody out there. This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. My name is Benjamin Kennedy. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. Do appreciate it. It has been the best day here on the channel in terms of subscribers on YouTube. So definitely appreciate the support and the love. Happy to see it growing. Excited about it, and hopefully we can keep it going here. And also, I'm also excited about my new T-shirt here, man. I got to show you guys this little Lord of the Rings action here. We got the little Gandalf and Gollum in the shopping cart. I am a Lord of the Rings nerd. I'm a Tolkien apologist, and found this beauty on Facebook or on the internets, and I just had to have me it. So I spent a few of my dollar bucks and got myself a brand new T-shirt. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Have had a little bit of news over the last few days since I've last been with you. A few signings, and official retirement, and a couple other things I wanted to just go over with you guys tonight. So, starting in Dallas, we do finally officially have the Joe Pavelski retirement, making it official there a couple of days ago. Of course, Joe, after Dallas lost in the playoffs, said plan was not to play next year, but never actually used the retirement, the R word in describing that, but does make that official. In his career, played 1,332 games in the regular year, 476 goals for 592 assists, 1,068 points between San Jose and Dallas. He was a seventh round draft pick, undersized. When you're a seventh rounder, not a whole lot's expected of you. If you can have a really good AHL career, maybe come up and play a little bit in the National League, that's great. This guy's a borderline Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I think he really just was such a just a great leader. Was never the flashiest guy out there, but just was consistent and great teammate, and I just wish him all the best in retirement. It feels like a little bit like Patrice Bergeron last year. Like, man, you could probably play another season, but listening to his body, he feels like he's in a great place to walk away, and he can walk away feeling healthy, and that's a huge, huge thing for players. So, congrats to Pavelski, to his family. Big hole to fill for Dallas, but I think they probably saw this one coming. So good on him. Moving over to LA, Quinton Byfield, 21-year-old forward, does get his contract extension there with the Kings, 5 years at 6.25 million per season. I like this kid. He's, I think, a budding star in the league. Played 80 games last year, 20 goals, 35 assists for 55 points. I think this is just a great value for the Kings. I really do. I think that as he continues through this trajectory, I think he's going to continue to grow in his game. I think this could just be an absolute value contract as it moves forward. And I've been a little bit critical of LA, firing McClellan like they did. I don't think they had a very impressive free agency so far, but getting him locked up is a big deal. And so good on them. Going up to Vancouver, they did get their backup goalie re-signed. Artus Silovs gets a 2 year, $850,000 per season contract. Kind of takes that backup job from Casey DeSmith, who's no longer with the organization. Only played the 4 games in the regular year. Did go 3-0-1 and was 5-5 in the playoffs. So I think this tandem with Demko and Silovs should be very strong. Good on him, young guy, and I think they're in good shape there in net moving into next season. Going across back east to Boston, a little bit of minor news out of Providence actually, with Mark McLaughlin getting a 1 year contract, two-way contract, 775,000 league minimum for Mark. 68 games there in the AHL down in Providence, had 8 goals, 6 assists for 14 points. 1 game in Boston, just the 1 goal last season. Listen, guys, he's 24 years old. If you remember, a couple years ago, he came up, played a little bit in Boston, seemed to have some energy, has some juice. I want to say his very first game, he scored a goal. He looked really impressive a couple years back. I haven't seen enough from him to really know what he is. Is he going to be a legitimate NHL player? I don't follow Providence close enough truly to really understand kind of what he went through last season. You would imagine with a little bit of NHL experience, 68 games, only 8 goals, you would expect a little bit more. And I do think the team probably wants to see a little bit more from him. I think I would like to see a little bit more from him. Despite the fact that the Bees bringing Lindholm, they feel like they're good down the middle this year. Developing players like this is really, really important to an organization, and you would like to see McLaughlin just take that next step. We'll see what he can do this coming season. See if he gets a call up. I imagine he'll go through camp. Will probably most likely end up back with the P Bruins, and that's okay. Moving over to Carolina, news that was starting to break a couple days ago, but Kuznetsov does get his unconditional release from Carolina from that last year of his contract. He is most likely heading back to Russia and to the KHL. He had just 1 year left at $7.8 million on the cap. A little bit of a lightning rod type of player in his career. This past season between Washington and Carolina had 63 games played, 8 goals, 16 assists for 24 points. He's a Stanley Cup winner from 2018, if you remember, and was a huge part of that playoff run. I think Ovi got the Conn Smythe that year, but there was a lot of talk that maybe Kuznetsov should have had that award. He was huge in that series, in that run. Always been a little critical of, is there another gear in his game? He's given some interviews over the years where it feels like maybe he isn't interested in putting in all the effort, all the work. But I guess if you're a Capitals fan, you can't have anything but love for this guy. He really helped you big time to get that Stanley Cup in 18. But another loss now for Carolina. They do get obviously the cap hit, comes back to them. I think the signing bonus obviously is with Kuznetsov, but Carolina gets a little bit of cap relief, but it's just another scoring forward that they lose. I'm going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting, I should say, to do the Carolina season preview here in a couple weeks. I don't know if they're a playoff team next year. When was the last time we talked about that? I mean, since Rod Brindamore's been there, they're just a playoff team, and they always give the Bees fits. Um, I don't know if they're a playoff team. Well, we'll see. We'll see. They're still waiting on Marty Natris. That's still something that has to get done. Still trying to work out the details to get him re-signed. Be curious to see what happens there. They do get Jack Drury re-signed, another one of their RFAs. Young forward there gets done. So yeah, it's going to be a curious season in that metro, and curious to see what and where Carolina will be in that metro. I think they're vulnerable. I just do. I just do. Uh, Old friend Torey Krug. Sad news out of St. Louis. This is from Frank Saravelli yesterday. Defenseman Torey Krug has been diagnosed with a pre-arthritic issue in his ankle. He is hoping for non-surgical intervention, but currently out indefinitely. And if surgery is required, he will miss the entire season. Not good. Not good news. Looking like there'll be a reevaluation in about 6 to 8 weeks. This is tough. I mean, Krugy is once a Bruin, always a Bruin. You hate to see this for any player. When you're talking about pre-arthritis, that's I'm not sure really how you cure that. I'm certainly no doctor, but that doesn't sound good. So you feel bad for him. There's been a lot of speculation over the past couple of years that St. Louis has tried to trade him, trying to move off of him. He has enacted his no movement clause, as is his right. Certainly that trade to Philadelphia, I think it was last season. So it's just tough all around. Obviously, if he is out for the year, that's a $6.5 million cap relief to St. Louis. They can put him on LTIR, gives them that flexibility to go out and utilize that money for something else. But I just feel bad for the guy. Um, don't want to see anybody have to go through that. I'm not saying he's done for his career. I don't want to make this like a death sentence or anything, but that's just tough here in July to think my season might already be done. That's just difficult. Talking about free agency, of course, a lot of the teams have spent their money. A lot of the work is done, but there's still a handful of fairly decent veteran players out there. Daniel Sprong is still out there playing in Detroit last season. James Van Riemsdyk is still out there. Tyler Johnson, Max Pacioretty, Kevin Shattenkirk, Mike Hoffman. Um, Curious to see where or if these guys get signed. Sprong has been the interesting one for me. Um, I know there's been some chatter about his full 200-foot game. Is he kind of a one trick pony? JVR obviously is getting up there in his age. I would really like to see Boston bring him back just as a depth forward. I think he has some value, even if it's a league minimum or a 800 $900,000 contract. I would like to see him one more year here in Boston. We'll see where these guys end up, but um, just curious to see those kind of names still out here on July 17th, 17 days into free agency. We're going to bring it up the coast to Portland here for the Maine Mariners. Goalie Brad Arvanitis, and I apologize if I mispronounced that to any Mariners fans, does resign, though, with the team today. 26-year-old netminder. Last season, played 35 games here for the Mariners, was 20, 10, and 3 with a 2.71 goals against and a 920 save percentage. Excellent season out of Brad. Playoffs was 3-3 with a 1.69 goals against and a 939 save percentage. So, last year there was kind of a three-headed monster in net. Obviously, Kaiser going off to play in China in the KHL, so that should clear the way for Brad to have more playing time. And given the year he had, should be a lot of fun. Yeah, he's 26. He's actually older than Swayman, so I'm not sure what the trajectory is for his career. But listen, it's so hard to get to the NHL. You don't want to begrudge anybody having a great career and having an ability to play a long time in the ECHL, the AHL. That's a damn good brand of hockey, and so good on him. I think just seeing some chatter here from Maine Mariner fans. I think everybody's really excited that he's back. He's going to really stabilize the net, and should be fun to see. I'm certainly looking to go to a few games this year and check him out. So that's the news that we have for today. Um, like we've been talking about the last 2 and 3 videos, things are really going to start to get quiet, which is going to lead me to doing some different videos as we move forward. I am happy to announce that in the coming weeks, I will be having my first guest on the show, Dr. Kristen Moody. She is a chiropractor, Summit Chiropractic out of Bath, Maine. She's going to be coming on. We're going to have a lovely discussion about health and safety tips for high school and young athletes. And be very curious to get her perspective as this is really probably more for parents to just, warning signs for your kids as your, kids are obviously at summer break right now, but fall sports will start back up in August. But what are some things to watch out for your kiddos to make sure they are staying safe, staying healthy? Dr. Kristen will be here to discuss some of that. Beyond that, we will be seeing the team previews for 24-25. I am working diligently on those right now, and those will start to roll out in August. And as we say, as news breaks, if the Swayman thing happens soon, let's hope, I'll be here to report on that. But thank you guys so much for listening. If you do like what you're hearing, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, show love, be kind, and God bless.